The way we started talking, I forgot to film an intro, but I mean, like, we'll just
I
go,
noticed that.
we'll
I
film
figured
that
I'd just roll with
last.
it.
All right, so let's get started into this one then. Okay, so I mean, like, this one's pretty cool. I like how practical it is and everything.
Yeah, I
Uh,
really like how this like shows kind of Tony's evolution. I mean, it's the first movie and it's the first suit he ever makes, but the slapdash style of it, kind of reflects where he is in the plot, both as a person and as an inventor, I feel like.
yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about saying, like, it really speaks to how he is as a person, like, with all the suits. You know what? That makes me think of something that we'll get to, like, eventually with, like, the Mark 42, my least favorite suit out of all of them. But but yeah, like, yeah, how it's kind of cobbled together, just like, yeah, speaks to how he himself is trying to figure out things. We can throw in the Mark II.
Oh yeah, the all silver
Yeah.
before the paint job.
Yep. I really like this look. It's just like really like, sleek and neat.
It reminds me of War Machine later on. Like
Yeah.
looking at it now.
Yeah. And then you can kind of see where just like it was the branching path almost for like, yeah, we can go with the hot rod red or we can go all military right here.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that when you look at this, like compared to the first one, it's such a far jump, obviously, because he has more resources and time and he's kind of figured it out on the first one. He did trial and error. But I feel like after this, it doesn't evolve a crazy amount, at least in outward appearance.
Yeah, like like they evolve in appearance like in sets almost. Like the next like two or three are the same, and then the two or three after that, and then it like.
Yeah, it feels like after this, his suits really don't change that much, either in like color scheme or structure, versus like some of the other superheroes have quite a bit of difference in them.
Okay, so then here's the Mark III. Put in that hot rod red.
Yeah, that quintessential
Yeah.
look there.
Yeah, like, is this the most iconic one? I'm not sure.
I would say yeah. I would say yes.
Yeah.
Especially because I grew up with the Marvel comics and, reading all the comics and flipping through looking at the pictures growing up. And, like, this color scheme is just so quintessential Iron Man. And they've, changed it a little bit to kind of update it for our current era.
Yeah.
But even just the colors on the helmet versus the arms versus the legs, like, they've kind of pared it down so it really reflects that original style.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And then, yeah, you're right. Like, this really pulls together his whole character arc in that movie, anyways. Of like,
Yeah.
he kind of looks like Hood. He knows what he's doing somewhat.
Well, the whole iconic scene at the very end of his first movie, I am Iron Man. Look to camera.
Yes. He said the thing. Let's see. I sent you the next one, the suitcase suit.
Yeah. I'm gonna be real, this one is so ugly.
It is ugly, but I love it for that because I like how it's just like this dumb, like it doesn't have any of the weapons of the other ones. It's just got the repulsors, and he's is just on the racetrack or whatever. Throw me the briefcase type thing. And I like how it kind of works into the further evolutions of the next suits.
That's true.
Let's see.
Yeah. Honestly, I'll be real. I remember, I think, 5% of the third Iron Man movie. Because I remember the second one was just like so bad. That at some point I saw the third one and I'm like, there's a guy who's like an orange or something, and that is literally it.
Like the next iteration of the suit I could send you, but I don't think we'll have anything to say about it from Iron Man 3.
They all
Iron
really
Man
are
2.
the same.
Huh?
They really are all just very similar. I mean, they make some improvements here and there, but the structure stays the same. The color palette generally stays the same. The
Yeah.
purpose stays the same.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I'll send you the other one. 'Cause, you know what? This is my favorite suit just because it has that moment where it, like, Loki throws him out the window and then the pod comes after him. And I was like, the suitcase thing. Now we got it into like a whole jet engine thing. All right, cool.
As soon as you said the suitcase from the last movie, my mind immediately went to, wait, isn't the next one he has, like, the things that chase after him? Because that is actually a really great, like, effect. I love that part.
Yeah. I think, that's probably why this is my favorite one. Like, we skipped the other one that still has him in the whole, like, you know, what would you call that? Assembly circle? Like, the assembly line of one?
Yeah, oh, like, he's, like, in his own little car factory, like, with all the mechanical arms, like, putting things onto him.
I love the scene where he's like, I don't know how I'm going to get this off. And, like, the arms are, like, picking at him. And then he's like, stop it. Okay.
There's so much really good content in that first film.
Yeah. Like, it is by far the best one. Okay, so we have moved on to the Mark 42, the one I hate the most. I hate it a little bit less now that you said the thing about, like, it's his character development. Oh, one of my lights went out. But yeah, I don't like this one because it's got the heavy gold accents on it. And then just,
I don't think it's a good look.
Yeah, and then I hate it that it's the one that he uses through the whole movie, even though it's like screwing him over at every turn. And I get what the point of the movie is, like, what's he like without his suits? But the suit just sucks just anyways.
Yeah, I kind of feel a little like I'm cheating saying that I still don't like this one when earlier I said that the color scheme really doesn't change, because this is really like the only kind of big difference we see where the gold takes over more of it.
Yeah.
But it looks bad. One thing about this suit though, like, yeah, we don't like it and it's ugly and it keeps failing him throughout the film, but if you think about it with, like you said, this film kind of being his opportunity to step out of the suit and see who he really is, I do think the changing color scheme is kind of interesting when you look at it in that lens, because if he needs to get out of the suit and be like a real person besides just a flying war guy, he's suddenly covered in gold and like obsessed with himself and way too self-centered. And it's, you know, it's an outward reflection of his inward journey.
That's pretty fair, because like when the kid's coming up to him and like everybody won't leave him alone in the bar and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you can make a case for it. There's some narrative stuff there.
You can. I still hate its guts, but I see what it's going
It's
for.
still ugly. It's still ugly, but there's a purpose.
I'm throwing this one in just because it's like an interesting flip on the color scheme. This is the one that appears in Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Homecoming. There we go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. God, it's been so long since I've seen any Marvel films. I'm such a fake fan.
I mean, it's been so long since they put any out, so I mean, what are you gonna do?
That's true. I don't know. I feel like they're just, the colors are different. Maybe if we're going with like the symbolism track, you could kind of say like it's a bit of a different color scheme because Tony's in a very different role in this film. Like he's kind of acting as this mentor to Peter. It's not really about him anymore.
Okay, yeah. Even though it always turns back to him because he's always got someone who's mad that he screwed them over.
He is Iron Man. Even Captain America gets mad at him. Eventually, like, everyone's just mad at Tony all the time.
Oh, yeah, and it's like, man, he seems like an annoying person, but it doesn't seem like you want to, like, murder him all the time, though. I don't know.
I don't know. If I knew him in real life, I would probably punch him at least once.
True. I can definitely understand, like, when, like, Captain America and Bucky are, like, double teaming him or whatever. There it is. This one, it's a really good build on it, but it, like, it also reminds me of, like, the Ironmonger, Obadiah Staines, like, one from the first one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh, it really does. I've never reaction before, but it really does. Something about the Hulkbuster that I do like, I like that this one is kind of different and that it was made for one very specific purpose.
Yeah. But also the fact that it's like named like what would you say if I was just like I have a Chelle Buster armor in my closet right now just in case you just go off the rail.
I've just got like this jacket I wear if I need to kick the shit out of you. It's fine.
Right? Don't worry about it.
I mean, if I was like a 10-foot tall, muscle-bound, like incoherent, like beast person, then I would say like, okay, maybe that's appropriate. Especially if you have the self-esteem of Bruce Banner, which is just like, rad.
Okay, so then Infinity War, this is when he had like the nanotech, and then a lot of people don't like this one because it like feels so much less real. And I'm there for it. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like after a while of the suits, the charm kind of wears off. And when we get to like and when you get to Infinity War, the plot is so crazy and convoluted and like combining fantasy with like sci-fi tech that it doesn't feel even vaguely realistic in the way that kind of Tony's first suit kind of felt like it could actually happen, that he made it together cobbled in like a cave while he was being held captive because he's a really smart guy and he had these materials and like he had the time, he had the means, he could do it. That kind of felt like it could be like almost realism. This is just like so far gone, and that's not a bad thing because like at this point in the whole Avengers saga, we're so deep into these characters, we don't care how realistic it is, we just want to see them punch things. But it's just,
and then
it's
like
a very different
weirder
vibe.
stuff has happened in the universe.
Yeah, but it's just a very different vibe from like his humble origins to where he is now.
Yeah, I think my main gripe with I missed the opportunity to talk about it, but my main gripe with the suits past like Iron Man 2, I think, is this is when that's when they started saying, well, we don't have like Robert Downey Jr. got tired of wearing like the practical suits all the time. So then like the CG suits start coming in. So he's like, well, because before they would have him at least wear the chest plate. And so then there's a certain point where he's like, well, okay, so you just need the chest plate for like a reference scene, right? And then after that, I don't have to wear it anymore. They're like, yeah, sure, okay. I'm like,
I mean, I really can't blame him for that because that thing has to be awful to wear. You know, you see those like guys at Comic-Cons that have like 3D printed their custom suits, and it is mind-blowing amazing, but you couldn't pay me to wear that thing.
Are you sure we couldn't pay you $30 million to wear that thing?
Well, in that case, maybe.
See?
Maybe.
But yeah, like that's my gripe with like a few of the things. Like we'll get into Chris Hemsworth a little bit later in the eye patch, but let's see. But yeah, for this one, it's like where it's like, you know, kind of just full CG and it loses kind of that impact to me. So, but yeah, you're right. Like this is just where it's just, you know, they've lost their charm. We've done so many innovations on them that what more can you do?
Yeah, it really feels like they reached a point in like the whole saga and the series that everyone who's watching is watching because they feel obligated to, in a way.
Yeah, that's fair because you've gone this far with them, and like to me, like I was by Infinity War, I'm like I am very burned out at this point. I might Endgame might be my exit strategy. This is like where we have a bookend to this chapter of everything. I can make a clean break and not have to watch everything from now on. I don't know.
Same, yeah. Oh, it got so insane and just so oversaturated really towards the end, towards Infinity War and Endgame. There was just too much content, honestly. Yeah, I have like a weird special spot of affection for Hawkeye just because he is so like sardonic as a character, and when you match him up with these other super overpowered people, he's like, I shoot arrows really good. That's what I do. So I actually really love him. Like, he's just so funny in comparison to these guys, but he can hold his own.
Right? Yeah. Like in Endgame where where people, I was shocked to see people didn't like his line delivery when he's like, when people were like, well, Natasha died? What? And then he's like, well, you go up to the planet in the sky and you talk to the Red Skull man and you tell him to bring her. Everybody's like, what is his line delivery? It's like, he doesn't know what the heck he's talking about.
Yes, that was so spot on for his character.
We got so off track. We're supposed to be talking about Iron Man.
Iron Man's boring.
Whatever.
Hawkeye's so much more interesting.
Right? Isn't he though? Like, yeah, towards the end, he is way more interesting.
Yeah, you give one character like 3, 4, 5 films that are really focused on them, and then you give like this one guy off to the side some really quippy one-liners. I will root for that one guy off to the side any day.
Right? Because like when they're fighting at the airport in Civil War, and then he's like, and then Natasha's like, "We're still friends, right?" And he's like, "It depends on how hard you hit me."
Yes.
I'm like, oh, this is great. This is great friendship. I like that. It's just like, yeah, you want to grab a drink later? Yeah, sure, whatever, dude.
Yeah. He brings the humanity and the humor back into the films with all of the other overpowered like muscle guys who are like, I will fight you to the death for my best friend from 1940. I'm sorry, Cap, but I gotta call you out there. Hawkeye just like brings the humanity back in.
Like, yeah, when they're like beating up Tony, I'm like, he did kill his mom. The last one I wanted to talk about was the Endgame suit, because I wanted to talk about how like they brought it back into the muscle thing, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Oh, I don't care for that.
Yeah, it's really weird. I think it's interesting that they're like, yeah, let's make it look like artificial, but it's just like, man, I don't know how else you were gonna do it. That's very creative of you, but
yeah, I like the concept, and like you said, I like respect the creativity, but honestly, it's kind of uncomfortable to look at.
Yeah, because it's just like what you would think of, like, yeah, that looks like it would jab you in places, like.
Well, it literally, if you like, look at models of human anatomy and like strip down to muscle, like without the skin, it's literally just like the major muscles areas, but in metal, and it's just kind of a weird mix. The like biceps look all right, but it's the thighs that it's like. It's specifically the thighs.
Like we just grabbed Chun-Li legs and just like copy and pasted them onto Iron Man.
Those also make me so uncomfortable to look at.
We're starting off.
There he is, my
back
favorite
in the
white
1940s.
Boy. I love him. I love my favorite white boy. I stole that from the kids on TikTok. Don't rat me out.
Yeah. It's okay. None of my audience watches TikTok.